Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about a YouTuber who basically their whole career is over with. It's kind of sad to see because this is a YouTuber who had pretty much everything in life, man. Like, this is a guy who had like he's like a crazy house, incredible collection of cars, you know, he had everything he wanted, he had hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and unfortunately, due to his past, due to his history, everything has come crashing down, and he's now going to be serving over half a decade in prison and is facing tens of millions of dollars in penalties and fines from the government. It's just insane. Like, you just don't see stuff like this very often, I feel like. Like, I'm reading this and I'm trying to piece it together and everything before I record this, and there's just still so many questions on what happened, why this happened, what all went down, you know. We have a pretty good understanding of the story altogether, you know, the prosecutors and the details of the story, legally at least, have started to come out, but overall, man, like, it's honestly a pretty shocking story. Like, this is the first time I've heard anything about this. I don't know how long this has been going on or anything, but I'm just now finally hearing about this, so I don't know if I'm new to it or what's going on here, but it's always insane when you get to see a story like this where somebody who seemingly had it all, right, who had everything they would want, just watch it all come crashing down within the matter of a couple of hours in all reality, you know, getting arrested and sent to jail and everything, just watching pretty much your entire empire that you've built over your whole life just fall down because of things that you've done in your past. So this is all basically revolving around a YouTuber who goes by the name of Ami in a Hellcat. Now, he had over 800,000 subscribers to his YouTube channel, but unfortunately last year pled guilty to running one of the largest and most insane TV cable piracy schemes ever ran by the government. So, and keep in mind, this isn't just some, you know, random washed up YouTuber from 30 years ago or something like that, right? No, this is a guy who was uploading on his channel as actively as a month ago, where he uploaded a 20-minute video called Taking Delivery of a 2023 TRX Ram. So essentially, this guy, Omni in a Hellcat here, he basically recorded a lot of content surrounding like his car collection, like his vehicles and whatnot that he had amassed. He would just record like a car collection video or whatever, you know, he'd have a new car or a car he wanted to show off, he'd make a video about it, whatever it may be. And he did very well, but unfortunately this has all come crashing down, as it turns out he was apparently a pretty hardened criminal. I mean, a local YouTube star who built a sizable following with slickly produced videos flaunting his fleet of luxury and sports cars, collection of diamond-encrusted bling, and his spacious Swedesboro home will be forced to give up nearly all of it after he was sentenced on Tuesday to 5.5 years in prison for the illegal business that allowed him to amass those trappings of success. Bill Omar Carrasquillo, better known to his more than 800,000 online followers as Ami in a Hellcat, pleaded guilty last year to running one of the most brazen and successful cable TV piracy schemes ever prosecuted by the US government. As part of his sentencing Tuesday, he was ordered to forfeit more than $30 million in assets, including nearly $6 million in cash, cars including Lamborghinis, Porsches, Bentleys, and McLarens, and a portfolio of more than a dozen properties he'd amassed across Philadelphia and its suburbs. Quote, $30 million is a lot more money, or is a lot of money, but tangible objects aren't everything, U.S. District Judge Harvey Bartle III said in announcing the punishment during a hearing in federal court. Quote, you have a large following, and there may be people who think if you can get away with it, they can too. So everything has come crashing down here for Ami in a Hellcat. He's going to be serving a significant portion of time in prison, and he's basically losing everything, right? He's losing the cars, he's losing the money, he's probably going to lose his house. He's lost pretty much everything that he used to build his YouTube empire up. So that's what's most insane about all this, and that's what really leads me to say that Ami in a Hellcat is pretty much done, because, you know, as a YouTuber, you can like go away for like a year or whatever to jail, and you can come back and you can make a successful career if you're good enough at what you do and like your audience is loyal enough to you and whatnot. But this guy is going away for at least 5.5 years in jail. That's a very, very significant amount of time online. And at the same time, he's losing all of this stuff that he basically used as props in his YouTube content, you know, all of his cars and everything. So I don't really see a way back for Ami in a Hellcat here, right? Because, I mean, with everything gone, how's he going to make YouTube content? You know, if he comes back, he's going to have to completely switch up his style of content. content, or he's gonna have to run up another completely insane bag, which is gonna be, I would imagine, next to impossible, considering the fact that, well, he's gonna have extremely serious charges on his name, preventing him from getting a lot of jobs. He's gonna be incarcerated for a half decade, so that's gonna change a lot of details about him as a person. And then at the same time too, it's not often that people on YouTube just, especially after a half decade, just come back and make a whole new type of content and just do well again, especially as well as he was doing. I mean, this is kind of like a Wolf of Wall Street kind of situation here, where we're gonna actually break down what he was charged with and like the details of the situation. Carrasquillo, 36, apologized to his family, his employees, and the cable companies he cheated through his business, which illegally sold content hijacked from cable boxes to thousands of online subscribers, paying fees as low as $15 a month. Quote, I didn't really know the significance of the crime until I was picked up at my home. I feel like I let everybody down. But while prosecutors described Carrasquillo's crimes, which included counts of conspiracy, copyright infringement, fraud, money laundering, and tax evasion, as serious, much of Tuesday's hearing focused on Carrasquillo's remarkable rags to riches story. A product of North Philadelphia, he was raised as one of 38 children. His mother was deported and died of an overdose when he was still a child. His father dealt drugs and trained Carrasquillo at 12 to cook crack cocaine. Alright, so this is a guy who clearly has not had a great life growing up, and I don't want to make excuses for him. I don't want to sit here and say that, you know, because he had it rough growing up, what he did as an adult is okay. That's not the case, right? Like, you still have to face legal consequences for things that you do, regardless of how you came up. You know what I mean? You can come up in the worst of the worst, and that doesn't really give you just a free excuse to go around committing crime. But I mean, when you're 12 years old, your mom's dead and died of an overdose, you're one of 38 children she had, and your dad is actively not teaching you how to play fetch with a fucking baseball. I made him sound like he's a dog. That's not, we play catch with a baseball. That's what people play, not dogs. So his dad wasn't teaching him how to play catch with a baseball. He was teaching him how to cook up fucking crack on the stove, right? So, I mean, when you're 12 years old acting like fucking Heisenberg, thinking you're in a Freddie Gibbs Pusha T collab album, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you can't expect much in a situation like that. That's just the unfortunate truth. Like, you're one of 38 children to take care of. Like, that's already just obscene. Like, especially in modern society, 38 children is actually fucking ridiculous. Like, how do you do that? You know, with a 9-month gestation period in humans, how the fuck do you have 38 kids? I don't know, but that's not important, right? What's important is what happened here. This guy came from nothing, right? Like, and unfortunately, he got everything, but he did it the wrong way. You know what I mean? This guy went from being one of 38, you know, to basically learning how to make crack because he didn't have anything else, to owning any foreign car you'd want, you know, in a huge house with all these diamond watches and necklaces and stuff. It's the story everyone wants, you know, everyone wants to live that lifestyle, man, but the important way of getting it is getting it the right way, and of course, he didn't get it the right way. So basically, he was taking content that was on, like, cable TV, right? You know, your fucking Time Warner cables or whatever. I don't even know cable companies anymore, to be honest. That's how antiquated the technology is to me. But he would take content that's on cable or whatever, he would, like, stream it online, from what I understand, and then he would put a paywall up for people to pay, like, $15 a month if they wanted to see what was ever playing on these cable packages and whatnot. So, essentially, bro was running, like, hood Netflix here, if that makes sense. People used to do shit like this all the time back in the day. I remember back when cable was still a thing in the household, you know, you could get one of those, like, it's almost like having an unlocked iPhone. You could get one of those boxes that was, like, busted, and it had all the channels, and you didn't have to pay for it and shit like that. I remember that, man, back in the day. Them cable frauds used to go crazy, bro, but obviously now in the day, with the internet and everything being way larger than it was when I was still a child, you know, people are streaming these things now. They're not having some guy fucking hook up a box to the cable lines outside or something crazy, right? Like, so basically, you know, he was just stealing content from cable companies and restreaming it to people for paid profit online. And they came down hard on him, man. Like $30 million in fines and penalties, years in jail. His entire YouTube empire is now completely crumbled. There's nothing left of that. And it's clear, at least to me, in this situation, that they're kind of just more or less using him as an example. Like they said earlier in the article, you know, like, oh, you know, you have a large online following, so we don't want people to think like, oh, if you can get away with it, then they can get away with it, right? So I'm thinking because this guy had a huge audience, because of the severity of the crime, I'm assuming he was making a fucking crazy bag if they went after him like this, but just given everything, man, they finally got him. They finally took him down. Now, I don't know how much illegal piracy you have to be committing to have a fucking mansion and a fleet of, like, supercars and stuff, but this guy must have made, like, personal enemies with Spectrum themselves, you know? Like, Spectrum probably had, like, fucking Spectrum Team 6 trying to hunt this guy down and take him out so he'd stop stealing their shit. Because how else do you get this many millions of dollars in fines and, like, all this different shit? shit, right? Like, from what I'm understanding, like, he didn't use, like, YouTube earnings or anything to fund all these cars, which would have been hard to do anyway with that amount of subscribers to get that amount of shit, but apparently he got it all illegally, you know? He funded it through all these different ways and whatnot, you know, by stealing cable and shit, which, I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel bad for the cable company. Fuck the cable company and their losses, you know? These are multi-billion-dollar organizations that are basically ripping off anyone who's buying cable anyway, but, I mean, at the end of the day, consequences are consequences, you know? People can't just get away with shit like this, and they don't want, especially in the digital age, people to see this and feel emboldened to do it. And it goes beyond that, right? Like, this guy was doing tax evasion, you know, he was laundering money, he was committing outright fraud. There's a lot of other shit that they kind of wrapped up into everything and got him with, right? It wasn't like they hit him with just charges of stealing from cable boxes. This guy got, like, the full suite of charges, you know what I mean? It's an unfortunate situation because, like, this is a guy who, clearly he's not an idiot, you know what I mean? If you're able to commit this amount of fraud for this long without getting detected, you're not a stupid person. Sure, people will say, oh, you're an idiot for breaking the law or whatever, but this is a guy who built an empire by doing this. This is not someone stupid. This guy knew what he was doing. He knows what's going on here. And unfortunately, now he's going to be sitting in a jail cell because of everything, because of what happened here. And there's a lot of different people you can blame here, man. You can blame the cable company for being such a ripoff that people scam them. Or you can blame his parents for not giving him a fair shot in childhood. Or you can blame him for being the one ultimately responsible. Realistically, it's a lot of blame from me going towards him and his parents. Like, I mean, the article says, like, he's one of 38 kids. This guy never had a chance. This guy really never had a chance in the world, dude. And that's what's sad about the entire thing. You know, his mom's dead when he's a kid. You know, that takes a huge toll on children. His dad's teaching him to do drugs and cook crack when he's 12 to survive in the streets and whatnot, man. Like, that's rough. That's a rough upbringing. And a lot of people don't make it out of situations like that. And unfortunately for Ami and a Hellcat, he's going to be another story of one of those people who couldn't make it after all this. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about Ami and a Hellcat, and signing out.